The upper right side of the map in the blue, folks. He is for the Shopify Rebellion, looking to climb the summit once again. It's Byun. And of course, in the bottom left in the gold, he is for PSISTORM, looking better and better in recent weeks. It's Gumiho. And it is so toasty in my apartment. Like it shouldn't be. It's 69 degrees out. Nice. But I guess it was warm during the day and my fan has not quite circulated the air out well enough. Very unfortunate. But folks, we're going to see something. Oh, I was going to say something. I just looked at the production tab. I'm like, this is fine. But no, it's going to be Makarak's Reaper Expand from Gumiho in game 1. And I'm pretty sure that this is a set. This is, I mean, Gumiho knows that his opponent is a Terran player, but this is just a little bit weird, right? It's Reaper Expand, but you build the Reaper outside, and it just means the Reaper shows up in Byun's base a little bit faster, which I'm actually not sure how this plays against the Barracks Double Gas Factory. That's what Byun is going for. I mean, technically, I mean, the Reaper, he's going to show up 5 seconds faster. That may even mean that if Byun keeps his Reaper at home, it's going to be, well, 6 one way, half dozen the other. So, now Gumiho finally expanding as he gets that first Reaper on the map. I'm just gonna hide in the line of sight blocker, but unfortunately for him, line of sight blocker is not where Byun is gonna go. So playing very defensively here. And well, okay, second Reaper on. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised about a second Reaper. That's fairly standard. It's more like I'm wondering how many units Gumiho makes out of this barracks before he floats it back home. And there we go. Okay, so there's gonna be 2 Reapers here defensively. So I mean, it's just a different way of Reaper expanding into 2 Reaper, 3 Hellion. Meanwhile, Byun doing that cure thing a little bit, and he builds 1 Reaper defensively, making sure he doesn't die to something super crazy. And then he goes and he builds 2 more Reapers after he gets the reactor. And by getting the reactor, it means he gets 3 Reapers around the same time anyways. But he has that transition into mid-game just a little bit more. Now, it looks like Gumiho's going to get away with this for the most part. Considering the fact that this is a Widowmine. Was it Widowmine? Oh, okay, never mind. No, he's gonna build Hellions. As Byun says, okay, the timing where I really need this is past. I haven't really seen anything, I guess. I was gonna say, it looks like Byun's gonna be defensive, as the Widowmine is a purely defensive unit that you use to kill off, to build a force advantage, to build an HP advantage as your opponent runs up your ramp. So that not happening. In fact, Hellions on the way. It's gonna be 3 Reapers and 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions for the moment, as well the game goes on. Nothing too crazy here. Byun adding on, well, actually, as I say that, Byun adding a second. He's adding a second barracks before his starport. Looks like actually we're going to see some pretty committed pressure coming out of the Shopify Terran, as well. Gumiho something a little bit more standard. Barracks, yeah, barracks factory, starport, 1-1-1, building some Cyclones, getting some Vikings, doing all that. But this is not a build I've seen from Byun. I don't think. That is an extraordinarily quick stim in a TvT. So what we're going to see Byun look to do here is run across the map probably around the stim's going to be done around 5:30. And either catch Gumiho as he moves out with a unstimmed biopressure, catch the tanks unsieged, or, well, maybe find a little bit something else. But for now, the Reapers, the Hellions, they will find the few Reapers that Gumiho has made, and they're down. That means less map control for Gumiho for the moment. He's going to be very much in the dark about what his opponent is doing. So he's going heavy tech. We got tanks on the way. We got Ravens on the way. Whereas Byun is just ascribing to the rule of thought of more stuff is better than less stuff. And that's going to work. Okay, maybe. We're going to have to see. Because, again, this is an interesting build coming out from Byun. He will have double medevac. I got to assume double medevac out of this with how quick that stim is. Byun? Oh, no. He meant to lift the factory and the starport. Instead, he lifts the command center. Oh, that's awkward. stim now. Just about, I guess it's closer to 6 minutes than 5:30. Byun, third base on the way. What is this build from Byun? This is not... Gumiho opened as if this was TvP, and Byun is opening is opening as if this is TvZ. Now, his natural will be delayed, or his third base will be delayed. Gumiho finds it with 1 Marine and denies it just a little bit. And scan to the main base as well. He's going to say 2-on-1. What the hell are you doing here, Byun? There we go. Medevacs move out. Tanks here. I don't even know if... I feel like these are just defensive tanks. Yeah, Byun's not doing much with it. But Reaper Heli and Cyclone probably diving into the natural. They can get on top of this tank very quickly. Well, the double drop moves into the main base? Maybe they just bring themselves all together right now. Over me. But there we go. Drop into the natural here. Tank is in position to do the damage. And Gumi's found the one position where he can unload without losing too much here. Supply depot will fall. And that's not going to supply block Gumiho, though. And pickup, go away. 1 Marine has died. I mean, I feel like Byun wanted more than that. But also... Ooh, by the way, Gumiho's going mech. Second factory is on the way. Third base is done. But it's, I mean, it's very far back from the natural. That's kind of cool. We're going to see mech into bio. And, of course, part of the reason is this is data C, but still, that makes me pretty happy. Mech into bio is... I feel like when we talk about any mirror matchup, the matchup is best enjoyed when it is 2 different decks. When it is Muta versus Roach. When it is Blink Saga Disruptor versus Charizard Archon. When it is bio versus mech. As these drops try to set up right as the missile turret's complete, but that is really a free tank. Except, well, missile turrets are going to be enough, and the Vikings as well is going to force this drop back from Byun. Did he see the second factory? Well, he saw that factory in a weird spot, so maybe I'm hoping that he has the read that this is going to be mech. But yes, we do see the Marauder transition. At least we see the Tech Lab transition on, there we go, on these factories. So Marauders are now going to get built. Byun building out his 4th base piece. He understands that he's map control really for the next couple of minutes. And as he does that, we're going to see him, he's going to look to try to get 1 base up, maybe 2 bases up on Gumiho, start to expand to take the map, and then really trade inefficiently, but not so inefficiently that he loses the game. So his upgrade's just about complete here. Give it another 30 seconds. Concussive shells as well as we will start to see heavy Marauder production getting started rather soon, 3 at a time. And there we go. Additional barracks going down, going up to 8 as that 4th base gets started. Sometimes against mech players, we actually see it go even harder, go to like 10, 12 barracks. Because you are trying to play like the Zerg. You're just winning by mass production. There we go. Okay, upgrades now for Gumiho getting started. And the amount of times I've seen a mech player lose because they don't get armor, it's not insignificant. Maybe less so in this matchup than, say, TvZ. But still, it can be a problem. The question, though, is as this air army from Gumiho continues to be more powerful, as Byun continues to expand, at what point do we see Byun transition into Sky Terran? As that is kind of traditionally the way a bio Terran player has been able to build themselves, build their victory eventually, is they have just so much money that they can make that Sky Terran transition rather efficiently. Especially in epochs where mech play has different attack upgrades for ground and air. At different times in StarCraft history, we've had, well, it's been one mech attack upgrade that has powered both Vikings and battlecruisers and things and tanks. And then we've had epochs right now where it's ground attack and air attack. And at times we've actually had ground armor and air armor, which really favored the bio player in that matchup, because you're not going to have the free armor upgrades when it's your Vikings and battlecruisers or whatever, versus their Vikings and battlecruisers and Ravens and things like that. As Gumiho now solidly on 4 bases, he says, "Oh well, now time for me to build a bunch of command centers. I may not be able to use them just yet. I don't have the map pressure. At the very least, I will be able to drop mules. I will be able to have infinite scans." And away we go. So Gumiho scans out, says, 2 extra command centers for Byun as well. Nice to see. But the sensor towers, folks, are making it so nothing really happens in this game. Not for a while. Vikings looking for that air dominance. Thing's actually getting a couple shots there on at least the missile turrets, because Gumiho is very heavily turtled up, and it's kind of fun watching this. Because there are two Terran players, really, that do play mech. One is special, the other is Gumiho, and they play it very differently indeed. There we go, hot drop on top of 3 tanks. They will go down pretty much instantaneously, forcing the army to rotate to the right side. More tanks are going to siege up, but well, Gumiho's just breaking on top of them. Auto turrets get dropped, but they're not doing enough. 6 tanks have died now. Well, Byun runs backwards. Meanwhile, tanks wedge their way forward on the right side, and well, that's the sensor tower dead. That's a couple tanks dead. Byun taking fantastic trades on both sides, on the left and the right. SCVs have to get pulled to deal with this army, and well, that's not really what you want, but eventually Marauders will fall. Eventually Marines will die. But Byun, now, his 2-2 is done. And remember, one thing we got to talk about a little bit is Byun's harass, his worker harass, is going to become more impactful against Gumiho compared to what it would otherwise be. About to ramp. There's one tank that's just going to be dead. Second tank is sieged up as well, and we're going to see a lot of this shaft go down. The question is whether Byun can punch right on through tank. Siege up as well. Tank is now dead. We have one tank that was disabled, but it does not appear to matter, and Byun just breaks right on through. Left hook, right hook, and then a full haymaker. Byun, game 1. In the bottom left, in the blue, folks, he's up 1 game in this series. He busted right on through that tank wall. It's Byun. And of course, in the upper right, in the red. His mech did not work. Maybe something else will. It's Gumiho. So Byun opening up with not proxy Reapers, but heavy Reaper aggression in this game number 2, getting that second barracks in the main base. And with Waterfall, I mean, yeah, it's not Moondance, but it is still a very quick rush distance that will allow these Reapers to get across the map very quickly indeed. So we're going to have to see how Gumiho handles this. He's going barracks double gas factory. So technically, that build takes all comers. Technically, that build will be able to manage this. And now if the Reapers get on top of the factory, delay that one, or that first Hellion goes down, then it gets a little dicier. For now, first Reaper on the map, looking to really actually cut off any scouting Reaper from Gumiho on the high ground. He's not going to get it. Gumiho staying at home defensively, but it's important to get that. At least it's important to not allow that Reaper into Byun's main base, because Byun does not want Gumiho to know that, okay, this is mass Reaper play. You need to respond to this a little bit differently. For now, though, Gumiho's second Reaper just about done. So it's 2 Reapers of Byun on Gumiho's side of the map versus 2 Reapers from Gumiho. Of course, that will change pretty soon. Third Reaper rallying across, but because this is not a proxy, it takes a little while to get over there. Byun, oh, first shot. First shot. He gets the first shot of the Reaper diving right on top of it. There we go. 1 Reaper will fall, and it's split damage as well. Gumiho was not targeting things down. Reaper dive into the main base, and there's a third one as well. Hellion getting very low indeed. Reaper dies. Good micro here from Byun. He only loses 1. 2 Reapers remain, and the Reapers will continue to rally across. This is where things get complicated, folks. 1 SCV, actually not going to go down. Well, 1 SCV will fall. Reaper's going to try to get the low one, and Byun maybe stayed around just a little bit too long, playing on the high ground, or leaping onto the high ground. It's going to be Reaper for Reaper here. But now this Hellion will not fall. So Byun, he takes a positive trade, and he actually gets the Hellion pretty low. He says, I can take the fight anyways. It's going to have to be repaired, and that will force Byun back for the moment. Second Reaper, though, it's here now. And behind this, Hellions are rallying across. Byun looking to really snowball this here, but there are 2 Hellions out on the map now for Gumiho, and that complicates things just a little bit. Good double KDA charges, and actually 1 Hellion is not going to get sniped. So it's 2 Reapers versus 1 Hellion versus 1 Reaper and 2 Hellions, and now, well, Byun is not quite able to snowball this as he would like. He got a couple SCVs. This Hellion is going to go down, and that should be the end of the pressure. Byun has to run home. He's still building more Reapers. That should be the end of the Reapers, by the way. I mean, I would think that, but he's not. Byun building more and more and more Reapers. Now he's getting the Marines, sure, but getting this amount of Reapers is crazy to me. Byun lost 6 Reapers. He still has 4 on them. He built 10 Reapers this game. Right, that is 250 gas. That is so much. He's also getting his third base on location once again, relying on the map pressure that he has put on his opponent thus far, and also the map pressure that he is planning on putting on to keep Gumiho back home to allow him to take this third base on location. There we go. There's a Cyclone in this drop, a couple Marines as well. And by the way, Stim is not nearly as fast as it was in that first game. But in fairness, the Stim didn't get much done either. So, yeah, with these 4 Reapers, it's 2 shots SCVs. It's not enough to one-shot him, but we're going to see an elevator into the main base here. Tank is, well, there's 1 tank seized, but not the second one. Cyclone looking for the lock-on there, but he's got to stay outside of tank range. So that's not going to get all that much, but it is, hopefully, if you're a Byun fan, going to get a decent amount of workers here. 2 will fall, make that 3. That one's very easy, but he's kind of zoned out. Can't move where those tanks are. This army of Byun is not something that fights tanks super easily. Second tank is going to siege up, though, and that really should just be Byun. Well, he's not supply blocked Gumiho, but he did knock a supply depot down. And now Byun just dropping into the natural. 2 Marines, 4 Reapers, and the tank's going to have to reposition. The Cyclone is kind of locked away, but ooh, okay, he's not going to get the lock on at once, and we're going to see eventually this drop get shooed away. But 6 workers have died. Third base much faster here for Byun, and Marine, I mean, a Jack of all, or like a kitchen sink drop is going to find this. It's not going to kill it, though. It's already done. So Byun up 10 workers. He has his third base much faster. And this is going to force Gumiho to all in. We already see him moving onto the other side of the map. Raven number 1 will pop soon. Byun has 1 tank to the 3 of his opponent. But he should have a second tank soon enough. Stim is going to be on the way, but Stim not relevant for this fight whatsoever. It is all about the tank positioning. So Byun, his tank in the natural, not sieged up just yet. He wants to put it in a position where, oh, well, he's got to siege it up right now. Oh, no, Gumiho's just going to dive on top and dropping a tank on top of it. Why don't you? SVs have to get pulled here to keep everything alive, but they're going to find their way onto the tank. It's sieged up. It's a big surround, big concave here from Byun, losing 14 SCVs, but still, it's still, well, now it's not a worker lead anymore, but he kills off so much of this army. He still has 3 CC behind that. He still has triple mules. He keeps himself alive. This drop is dealt with. And 22 SCVs down the drain still feels like a good trade for Byun at this point. He keeps himself alive, and he can rebuild 3 SCVs at a time versus the 2 of his opponent. And again, triple mules, they make all the difference. So they're going to mass repair on this army as now Gumiho elevating forward, maybe into the mineral line, but it looks like, okay, now he will elevator into the mineral line, but Cyclone gets a good lock on. So a couple more SCVs will fall, but in the main base, he's going to go. Raven here is going to be a solid defensive force. KD charges, make things bounce. He'll bounce too, as there we go. There's the auto turret down, and it's a little damage on the medevac. Not quite enough, though. Gumiho really trying to swarm here. Cause enough gas to not allow Byun to stabilize. The Raven gets very low. Medevac gets very low as well, but Marines set themselves on up. Byun, is he going to have to give this position up? It kind of starting to feel like it. His army stuff is crazy. I'm looking at this. His army supply is up about 10, but his positioning is just not all that great for the moment. Marines stem forward. SCVs will not go down here. Tanks on the high ground. There we go. Finally, the swarm is knocked down. Byun down 2 workers. The third base still done, and the third base not yet done of Gumiho. Raven will fall. We just need to see Byun take a better siege up position. SCVs pulled there to keep the tanks alive. And now it feels like Byun can make his defense. Actually stemming the bio to get on top of this tank, chasing it all down. Combat shield's done in about 10 seconds as finally the upgrades for Byun get started. Ravens, or excuse me, Vikings on the high ground. They're trying to do something. They don't really get really much of anything. And Marines, yeah, it is going to be dead Viking. And Byun swinging this onto the other side of the map. Double the army supply at this point. How many tanks do we have? We have 1. It's set up a little bit far back, so the bio doesn't really feel comfortable moving in. But there we go. SCVs get pulled, but it's stimmed bio here. They have combat shields. The SCVs fall tremendously fast. And yeah, they get on top of the tanks eventually. But Gumiho has lost too much. And again, Byun clutches it out. Again, Byun wins the game. He's up 2. In the upper right, in the blue, folks, he's up 2 games to 0 here, and looking just really dominant. It's Byun. His opponent in the bottom left, hoping the towel actually is going to transform into a key. The key to beating Byun. It's Gumiho. So now, barracks on the... I mean, I don't know why I need to say that. Of course you're going to start with... What are you going to start with? Ah, yes, I would like to start with the Fusion Core, please. You don't get to do that. The Terrans have by far the least amount of tech, I don't know, linearity, or the most amount of tech linearity. I mean, technically, you know, Zerg needs to start with the spawning pool. Protoss needs to start with a gateway to make sure they can get a siren, to make sure they can get their tech. But I mean, if you're going mech as Terran, it's a very different build set. Whereas, you know, a bunch of gateways or a bunch of hatcheries give you a lot more flexibility in how you choose to play this game. As Gumiho saying, you know what, my back's against the wall. I really hope this is not a proxy, so I'm just gonna scout it out. So finally, actually, I guess game one had a rather mirrored opener. But we do have players mirroring each other in this game number 3 as well. Barracks, Double Gas Factory, into Command Center. And that's maybe where we see some differentiation. Game one, Byun went for a 2-on-1 out of that. We had, and then Gumiho went mech, of course. Normally, this build is going to go 1-1-1. You delay, you don't get the second, third barracks until much later. You focus on your tech. So getting Ravens out, getting Vikings out, getting tanks out, because that's what anchors, and maybe some cyclones as well if you're worried about early game harass, and that is what anchors your early game as you set yourself up to expand, and then you add your additional barracks or your factories or whatever it is. So Byun adding that second barracks early really was something different. Now it didn't really end up mattering. He won the game at 10 minutes after a rather uninteractive, or at 12 minutes after a rather uninteractive first 10. At least that's the idea. So as these command centers start to finish, Byun, yeah, okay. He seems like he does want to go this 2-on-1 style. It's interesting. This is not how TvT normally gets played. How much does he have defensively here? He's got, oh yeah, he's fine. He's got 2 Reapers, 3 Hellions, and 2 Marines as well. So with high ground positioning, he's just going to be able to knock this down. Notice he's targeting down the Reapers because they can regen. Hellions can be dealt with just a little bit later, and there we go. Oh, he actually got some great shots there. Hellion will, yeah, Byun cleans this up, and actually he takes the positive trade. One of his Hellions survives, and everything else just goes down. So well played there by Byun. I mean, part of it was positioning. He had the high ground, but his Hellion shots were well targeted. And Gumiho gets the scout that Byun pretty much does exactly the same thing. That Byun did almost exactly the same thing that Gumiho did do. Okay. Drop coming out from Gumiho now, and it seems like he's taking a little bit more page out of Byun's book unlike those first couple games. I mean, it's not 16 Marines and 2 medevacs, but it is a tank and a couple Marines. It is an early medevac from Gumiho, and if he's able to siege himself up where he wants to, he's going to be in a great spot. But look at this. Byun, that Hellion that he did not kill earlier, is going to be a pain in Gumiho's side at this point because it scouts out the drop. There we go, into the natural. We will go. Byun, his stim is not quite done, but Cyclones gets a lock on. Oh, yeah, there we go on the medevac, forcing it all back. Meanwhile, the tank has to run. Cyclone stays alive, actually. Good repair there from Byun. And Gumiho, I mean, he sieges his tank. He sieges his tank up here. He's going to get a supply depot, but he wanted more than that. Now, Byun does have to build some more supply depots. He will find himself supply blocked here briefly. There we go. The 2-1 from Byun now active on the map. And honestly, this is maybe even better for Byun than it might otherwise be. As Cyclone looking for a lock-on, but Tank does siege up properly. Maybe even better than it might normally otherwise be, because there's a tank and 4 Marines and a medevac on Byun's side of the map. A setup that Byun will be able to handle fairly easily. Lock on there on top of the medevac. It's gonna go. Wait, it's gonna go over dead airspace. This is, yeah, you can't get that out whatsoever. 6 SCVs die, but now here comes the drop. Luckily, there are Marines and tanks in position. So actually, Gumiho just kind of taking a positive setup, but oh well, drops in tank range. Okay, that's not gonna work out then. I thought it was gonna be good. I don't know that he had to pull the SCVs there, to be totally honest. But it's gonna be okay. And now his third base actually behind Gumiho. For the first time in this game, this is a setup where Byun, yeah, he's got more army supply, but let's be real. Army supply does not matter in this matchup when tanks siege up like this. And his economy, down about 4 workers. His third base just slower. Orbital, just slower. And what has he got for it? Quicker +1. Or excuse me, quicker stim. Also, I guess quicker +1 and quicker, well, quicker 1-1, quicker combat shields. But I don't know that there's a way that Byun, I mean, it's only 1 tank. Yeah, there we go. It's just going to stim up the ramp here. Gumiho has to pull his SCVs. He has to get on top of the tank, though. Does Byun. There we go. He's going to get right on top. And now there's really nothing to defend this one. SCVs, now they got to run. They got to hide. 10 workers will fall. And Byun says, okay, that's fine. You're going to pull the SCVs away. Let me target down this command center. But it's only going to get in the orange. It's not going to start burning. Byun going to do what he can to supply block Gumiho. But that trade was so good for Byun that he actually will not supply block Gumiho. And with the Liberators joining the fray here, it looks like the air dominance that Gumiho notionally has will eventually force Byun back. But Byun have double the army supply. Now he's the one up 10 workers. Now he's the one taking his third base. The Cyclone gets tracked forward into tank fire, so it's not going to get all that much done. And tank on siege is Byun. There we go, running away. But notice how Byun is being so judicious with how he decides to pull back here. He says, you know, technically I should run away. I mean, your tech is good, but I can just pick everything up and I can get out of it. And there we go. There's going to be a disable on the medevac. But he's forcing Gumiho to not take his natural. Now, Gumiho, what he's doing here, he's trying to deny the ramp. He says if these Marines want to run away, they can, but they are going to take tremendous losses. But tank sees up once again. Do we see more from Byun? Right now, no, not really. He's just getting put wedged into a corner and dropping to the main base, where all the SCVs are, and there's nothing to defend. Byun had Gumiho so focused on the natural that he didn't even think about the main. And yes, there will be 1 medevac that is disabled, but still 6 workers, 8 workers, 10 workers, 12 workers have gone down the mineral line in absolute shambles here. Now Byun, 60 workers, his opponent on 39. He's going to maybe try to find a little bit more. Auto turret gets forced. The medevac will stay alive, just barely, on red HP. And now Byun getting ready to stim into natural, but 3 tanks are here. So he could stim into 1 tank just fine. I don't know that 3 tanks is going to work out nearly as well. But we see Byun continue to grow. He's got his 1-1. Does he have an armory? He does. He needs to get his 2-2 started then. And there we go. It's going to get on the way pretty soon. But Byun recognizing that this is Tropical Sacrifice. This is a map that it's kind of hard to kill your opponent. It has 4 levels on it. But I can take more bases. I can develop my economy better. That is exactly what Byun is doing. 4th base on the way, on location. This drop's still going to look for something, and it's like maybe there's a salient point, but missile turret is going to be enough to block that down for the most part, and Marines as well. So taxing, tank is here, but tank seems to be in tank range, so the drop doesn't find much. Tank of Byun is dead. His bio is able to run away as well. But Gumiho just has to turtle the hell out of this game. And there's going to be a scary point where now Gumiho trying to take the 3rd base. If Byun is able to wedge himself up on that high ground as Gumiho tries to take the 3rd, as he is unsieged, maybe. It looks like the tanks are going to get their forward operating positions just now, and Byun, not aware of the timing that he potentially had, is just going to stay in the low ground. Have his tanks on the line of sight blocker, maybe drag some of Gumiho's army into it. Marine's going to run high ground, and there we go. Yeah, now having a decent idea of how many tanks there are. And well, scan now tells him exactly how many tanks there are. Honestly, I just want to see even more bases from Byun. He's not going to break this 3rd base setup, and merely even the 4th base is kind of free for Gumiho. But if he takes like 6 bases and just moves into mass late game quick as you please, I think that is probably going to be the way to break Gumiho at this point, because again, the economic lead is staggering. Not a staggering beauty though. Don't go look that up, folks. I mean, it's not that bad. It's actually, it's fun. Yeah, sure. Go look up staggering beauty. Or don't, you know, your choice. Just don't do it if flashing lights cause problems, I guess. Beyond now, though, he is adding those additional starports. He is adding the second factory, rounding out his tech. And there we go, 5th base on the way, as his opponent really is locked onto 3. Gumiho, from him, I would not mind seeing him just really transition into late game Sky Terran. He understands that he's probably not going to contest bio, and he only has three barracks, so I think that's what we're going to see. He's never really going to contest the bio of Byun. Not really. His upgrades will be too late. He will not have the production. His economy's bad. But if he can kind of skip the mid game and go straight late, maybe before Byun is ready for it, maybe that's going to be an opportunity. Now, Medevac's going to see a couple Vikings and Ravens, and well, Byun now trying to siege up this position here. Tanks, though, they're where they need to be, and that should not allow Byun up onto the high ground. But Marines are actually going to run forward. They're going to try to get a tank, and well, they don't get it. That tank gets very low, but still stays alive. And Byun has forgotten his +3 armor. Unfortunate, but he is building 4 Vikings at a time. And that's actually what he needs to be doing. He's 8 Vikings right now versus the 6 of his opponent. And if he is able to get that level of air dominance, he won't even really have to go and move into that weird late game Raven style, where if he just knocks all the Vikings down, then he knocks all the Ravens down, then he can have Liberators run across the map. And then this sieged up position will no longer be sieged. The slow push from Byun is going to be pretty damn nice. As we see missile turret on the bottom side, eventually planetary, so this auto turret harass is not really going to represent that much threat. And Byun now killing his own Marines. He says, I need more. Give me those Ravens. Gumiho trying to take his 4th base here, and this is something that Byun should scout. Yeah, okay, so he's gonna see the 4th base go down, and yeah, we notice immediately beelining over here. It says, I want to make something happen, but you don't want to go up this ramp, Byun. That's not exactly what you want. Big tank shots, but even still the bio, never mind. Too many tanks there from Byun, just really leveraging that the supply lead that he has. It's 10 tanks to 8. Now tanks will move forward, and he's just going to win the Viking battle. Actually, good disables there. It means that the Viking battle is actually 8 to 7 effectively, as 2 Vikings do get really knocked down. And the bio on the left side, not finding the value that they're looking for. Vikings run forward, another Viking goes down, but Byun, he can build 2 at a time. Or he can build 4 at a time, excuse me. He's kind of okay with this. As long as he denies the 4th base, he is on 5. He's soon to have 6. He's going to trying to chase this army down. And, well, it's going to be +3 versus +2. Gumiho runs back to the safety of his tanks. Gumiho's hope right now is the fact that he may be able to max up. Vikings, actually, they're going to find a couple Ravens. Auto turrets get dropped, and 1 Raven will fall. And even more importantly, the Raven runs out of energy as we actually don't have Corvid reactors. This eager lead is kind of disgusting here, and I don't think Gumiho stays in this game if it was not the final game of the finals. It is very far behind, but he's going to try to make magic happen anyways. The Vikings run forward, even with the STV is technically able to repair. Byun taking the positive trade there, and he's building 4 Vikings at a time. That's what he's choosing to max out on. He just wants air dominance, and once he has air dominance, it is going to be a position that really Gumiho will not be able to contest. This prospective 4th base just gets targeted down by a bunch of +3 bio. It will not find itself in a position, there we go, it's dead. It will not find itself over land where SCVs can repair. And now Vikings, they move in as well. Even with the repair, the Vikings are falling down. It is actually now going to be 0 Vikings to 8. So Byun, he owns the sky, he owns the ground, and the noose grows tighter. There we go, dropping the main base. And 1 medevac is very low. In fact, it will go down, but still, that is 24 very heavily upgraded Marines. 3-3 Marines into the main base. Gumiho cannot contest this easily. And now we're going to see just a lot of the tech of Gumiho, at least a lot of his infrastructure fall down. Now moving on the high ground as well. Scans have to get forced here, but the tanks still will go down. I think we see the Vikings land on top. There we go. Landings on top of the tanks anyways. But they're not killing them all that quickly, actually. There they go, on top of the last tank. So now, 4th base position has been broken. Byun swarming everywhere. Supply getting closer, but he deals. 8 tanks to, well, actually, 8 tanks to 5. There are still 5 tanks in this game, so Byun maybe not quite breaking through as much as I thought he had. But a couple more tanks will find, and now it's 8 tanks to 4. And Gumiho taps out. He was dead for a while, but the magic not quite there. And folks, Byun 3-0, your champion of EBT North America 1-4-0.